How's it going, folks? I'm Scott. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back with the Audi TT. We're still waiting on the Puma coming back from paint at the moment. However, in the meantime, I do want to do a couple of changes to the Audi. Last time the Audi video was the front bumper getting changed to the TTRS style. That has actually left the back of the car looking a bit boring. So we're going to change that, upgrade it. We're going to put a TTS rear exhaust on it. And we're going to put a different valance on it because obviously it'll have the quad cutouts. So we'll go for that just now. There is a couple of changes I have to make to the car to make it work, but I'll show you as we go along. Here we go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the rear valance. I have read up on it. I believe you can just pull it off. You have to pull it really hard. I'm hoping not to have to take the bumper off, but if we do, we'll figure it out soon enough. Okay, that was easier than I expected. So here we have the TTS rear box. Unfortunately, one of the things that you immediately notice is this is a front wheel drive car and the TTS is all wheel drive. The exhaust actually comes out and goes to the right on this one. The exhaust that's on the car actually comes out and goes to the left, so we're going to have to cut it up near where the back box is, and we'll use that connector to join it. We are the same diameter and everything else is the same size, so it shouldn't be a problem. The other issue we have with it is it's actually got a valved section on it. The car itself doesn't have the option for an exhaust valve, so we'll have to do something with that as well. So I start off with a cutting tool specially designed for cutting pipe, which you'll see better when I cut the other exhaust. But it's basically a pair of mole grip type pliers with a bladed chain on it that cuts a ring out of the pipe and you tighten it as you go along. This gives a neat clean cut and perfect for rejoining using a 65mm diameter sleeve clamp when I put the new back box back on. As you can see with the frost on the roads in the background, it's currently sub-zero temperatures here. It's absolutely freezing outside, so laying on the ground isn't the best just now. But I really want to get this done today, and at least having the right tools for the job make it a bit easier. And it wouldn't be YouTube if I didn't give the car a start and a little rev with the exhaust disconnected. Then with a pair of exhaust clamp pliers and a 13mm socket I can take off the two remaining mounts that hold the back box on, and to be honest the clamp pliers were just bending, so I should have just took the mounts off in the first place. I just wanted to put them back in the exact same place they came off to make it easier, but I had to adjust it in the end anyway. So you can see everything's the same size. Just got to cut that new exhaust just down to the same size as the other one, and then we'll put the other exhaust back on. I then tried to lift the exhaust back up and push it back into the hanger that I left on the car. However, it was just a bit heavy and awkward for me to do it, so I decided it was best to remove the two remaining 13mm nuts and fit the hanger back to the back box before lifting it back on again. I then aligned the back box using the marks from the original mounting. That way it shouldn't be too far out, but there is room on the brackets for further alignment should it need it. But we can do that once it's clamped back on. You can see already it's starting to look a bit smarter with the 4 chrome exhaust tips than it was with the 2 stainless steel tips just coming out of one side. I really think this will make a big difference to the car once it's complete, and it should look a bit more sporty. Then I put a small amount of exhaust assembly paste inside the sleeve clamp and tightened the two 15mm bolts to clamp the exhaust sections securely back together. I was a bit sceptical about it at first, but the clamp really does seem solid and should be secure enough. Hopefully it doesn't leak, but if it isn't any good, I will get it welded back up later. Then it was time to go for the first start of the car and see how it sounds, and I'm sure you'll agree it does sound better already. And I quickly find out the one thing I wasn't too sure of was that the valves default to the open position. So that's the new exhaust fitted. It does still need the valves put into action, so I have a device I'm going to start fitting to that just now. It is sitting open, I want the option to be able to open and close it as it was meant to be, so we'll start putting that back on. Got to leave it running for 15 minutes just to let the exhaust paste harden up. We'll put the valance back on in that time as well. The genuine rear TTS valance just clips in place, and I have painted this one white to match the car just to be a little different, but maintain an OEM plus look. The car isn't a genuine TTS or RS, so I did want to have it slightly different, but again keeping with a relatively factory look. I also painted the small trim at the bottom silver, just to match in with the front TTRS bumper, and again I think this looks like it should have been there from original. Even though the car is dirty, that does look a million times better. Get it off the jacks now and we'll start doing the exhaust valve. So just to test it before I actually fit it properly, I bought this little vacuum box off eBay. It actually runs a vacuum pipe out to the back of the exhaust, and it's powered off the 12 volts, so I have to run the power there. I just wanted to see how it worked first, so I've actually ran it in the car there now, and we'll see the difference between it fitted and not fitted just now. So yeah, it does make a little difference, so we'll go ahead and fit it fully. We'll have to run it into the boot somehow, and then we'll have to run some power out to the car, but we'll do that now. So looking in the boot, there is actually convenient, there's a drain hole right at the back there, just above the heat shield. I've managed to run the tube down and I've got it plugged into the exhaust there. I'll put the drain plug back in, we'll put a little bit of silicone around it, and that should hopefully keep it from getting any water in there. And it's also an ideal location just to have it routed. So I've ran the power cable from the exhaust valves all the way up to the fuse box. I'm going to now incorporate it into the fuse box. I'm going to use one of these breakout fuses. It saves me trying to find any spare slots. I can just take a fuse out and put it in, and then it keeps the original fuse and takes a new fuse for the exhaust valve controller. It's 10 amp fuse that goes in that, and then whatever fuse I take out here. So I just have to find which one is switched live, because I don't want it to be live all the time. I want it to go off when the car goes off, so it's not sitting powered all the time, causing any battery drain or giving any fire risk if it's left on powered up. So the first thing we'll do is we'll just test the ignition off. We've got to try this because there's the most room up the top of the fuse box, so we've got to try up the mini blade fuses up top first. The ignition off, there's no power on that one, so then put the ignition back on, and I have 12 volts, so we'll use that fuse. So I'll connect that up now. So I cut the lighter socket off. I didn't want to run it in the lighter all the time, so we'll just do this. This just crimps in. That one. In typical fashion, I dropped the fuse clip, so take that fuse out and put that in the original socket here for the bottom one. Then it was a 10 amp fuse in the lighter socket, so I'll put another 10 amp fuse in here. And that should just then push in there. That's that done. Then what I'll do is I'll just take the dashboard bolt that I can reach, and I'll just run the earth cable into this dashboard bolt here. That should give me a good connection. We'll test it out just now anyway. So that's now tight, and that's now giving a good earth to the controller. So we'll put this back together, but I think we'll test it first just to make sure. Give it a remote. So that's working fine. I'm now just going to put this back together, and then that'll be it complete. And who could forget about the cold start the next morning? It actually sounds even better on a cold start. And this, folks, is the finished look for now of the car. I do have a long list of further upgrades I want to do: side skirts, maxed in design kit, power brake and suspension upgrades, and probably a stereo upgrade too, but they'll be in later videos as I get round to it. One of the things I didn't record is I fitted an RS style rear spoiler. I thought I had recorded it, but apologies, my battery had run out, and by the time I noticed it was fitted, but it was just simply a case of drilling 4 holes into the original spoiler, dropping some paint into the holes to protect them, and simply fitting the spoiler with 4 screws. I do have something further I need to do to deactivate the spoiler, but I'll do that next. I think this really has transformed the look of the car, and it looks so much sportier now and really takes away the basic looks of the standard TT. This being the basic TT is so much cheaper to run and is mainly used on long motorway trips, so it's really practical and comfortable. Looking at the car now, you wouldn't think it had ever been in an accident, and now with 78,000 miles on the clock, the car hardly has a mark on it, and it really is starting to look great. So lastly, in order to deactivate the electric spoiler on the Audi, I have to do one more thing, and that brings me on to the sponsor of today's video, OBDeleven. OBDeleven is an intelligent automotive Bluetooth diagnostics device. This compact wireless device can monitor your car's systems data, scan or clear fault codes, as well as modify various functions with one-click apps. It is used on more than 3 million cars globally and can be used on most cars for diagnostic functions. But this device specialises in VAG Group, Toyota Group and BMW Group cars, where it can do other functions also. It can be used for coding functions in and out of VAG, Toyota and BMW Group cars, and can be done by an easy to use app on Android and iOS, and can be pretty much done by click of a button as shown on screen. I have deactivated the electric spoiler for now, but I can turn it back on anytime should I want to lift it for cleaning or any maintenance. I've also turned on the alarm beeps, and I will use it again later in another video when I retrofit the cruise control. While I'm here, I also ran a scan of the vehicle's diagnostics, and it came up with 2 faults. Both the passenger and driver wing mirrors are open circuit, so that explains why the heated mirrors aren't clearing the ice in this current weather, so I'll order 2 new mirrors and get them fitted soon. This handy little device also lets you reset your service schedule warnings and has many other easy functions. If you want one of these devices, there's a link in my description and also a discount code where you can get a nice little discount on the OBDeleven device. Really handy little device. No matter what car you've got, you can do diagnostics, you can clear your fault alarms, you can set your services. But again, on VAG Group, BMW Group and Toyota Group cars, they are really handy because you can do a lot of coding. One of the things I want to do coming up is add cruise control to the car, and that'll also be handy because it'll allow me to code that in once I've fitted the cruise control stocks to the car. And that's actually got to be it for today's video. I really hope you've liked watching it. If you have, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop any comments you want. I'm trying to grow this channel, try to do more cars as we go along. I am waiting on the Puma coming back from paint, so hopefully I'll have that back soon. That'll be the next video. Thanks for watching. There's a fire inside.